March 12, 1999. A chilling 911 call is placed from a rundown suburban home in rural Illinois. A teenage boy, voice trembling, whispers into the receiver, "Please, I think my uncle killed someone. There's blood everywhere." The dispatcher tries to keep him calm, but what the arriving officers would find inside that home was worse than anything they imagined. Blood stained the carpets. A woman's body, brutally mutilated, lay sprawled in the bathtub, her mouth sewn shut, eyes missing. In the basement, the horror escalated. A wall covered with black and white Polaroids. Dozens of faces, all different people, all missing. This wasn't just a murder. It was the beginning of the end for one of the worst serial killers in American history. A man who lived undetected for over 15 years. A man who didn't just kill, he collected. His name was Robert Vance. He was never a headline, never a news special, but he should have been. Authorities believe Robert may have killed up to 42 people, and that number may still grow. Born in 1966 in Millfield, Ohio, Robert was the youngest of 3 boys. On the surface, he was quiet, even polite, but underneath, a boiling ocean of rage. His childhood was filled with darkness, a drunken father, a mother who disappeared when he was 9, and later, a fire that destroyed their home, killing his 2 brothers. The blaze was ruled an accident, but neighbors whispered otherwise. Some say they saw Robert in the woods, watching the fire burn, expressionless, just watching. What made Robert Vance so dangerous wasn't just his brutality, it was how invisible he was. He lived in plain sight, drifting from town to town across the Midwest. No permanent address, cash-only jobs, a different last name in every new county. From 1987 to 2002, dozens of disappearances occurred in towns where Robert had briefly lived. Hitchhikers, sex workers, elderly women, even a local pastor. No one ever connected the dots. The killings followed a pattern. Victims abducted, tortured, mutilated, and posed grotesquely in scenes that echoed religious iconography, arms spread like crucifixes, mouths stuffed with pages from the Bible. But the key to his signature? The Polaroids. Every victim was photographed, sometimes alive, sometimes mid-torture, and sometimes after death. Each image marked with a Roman numeral in red ink. Investigators believe the numbers indicated the order of his kills. The wall discovered in that Illinois basement had 42 Polaroids, but only 14 bodies were ever recovered. Some images showed victims in locations that couldn't be traced. Others, so disturbing, were never released to the public. According to Detective Jenna Cross, the lead investigator on the case, it was like a gallery of death, a serial killer's museum. Each victim posed like a piece of twisted art. We weren't just dealing with a murderer. This was someone who worshipped what he did. March 13th, 1999, 2:41 a.m. Armed with a warrant, a special response team surrounded Robert's home. The boy who had called 911 was taken into protective custody hours earlier. He was Robert's nephew, left in his care after the boy's mother went missing 2 years prior. The officers breached the door. What they found was a scene out of a nightmare. The living room, lined with antique dolls with eyes gouged out. The kitchen, jars containing what appeared to be preserved human organs. And in the attic, a sealed crawl space. Inside, crouched in the dark, was Robert, naked, covered in blood, smiling, holding a camera. In his first interrogation, Robert refused to speak. He only stared. Hours passed. No answers, no emotion. Finally, he whispered, "I don't kill them, I free them." Detectives played him audio from the 911 call. He laughed, then leaned forward and said, "You didn't find the others, did you?" What followed was a confession so detailed, so depraved, that agents from Quantico's behavioral analysis unit were flown in to profile him. He kept detailed journals written in code, some using symbols not seen since the Zodiac Killer. His writings described rituals, sacrifices, and an obsession with numerology. He believed the number 42 had divine meaning, his personal threshold for freedom. Robert's trial was one of the most disturbing in criminal history. Survivors, yes, a few had escaped, testified about the hell he put them through. One woman, now 34, had escaped in 1993, but was never believed until Robert's arrest. "He made me watch him kill someone," she sobbed in court. Said if I ever spoke about it, he'd come back and finish it. The jury deliberated for less than 4 hours. Robert was sentenced to 423 years in prison without the possibility of parole. But he wouldn't serve half of that sentence. In 2007, he was found dead in his cell, tongue cut out, eyelids missing. On the wall, written in his own blood, 42, "I am free." Robert Vance never made headlines like Ted Bundy or Jeffrey Dahmer, but in many ways, he was worse. A ghost in the system, a collector of souls. And out there, some of his victims have never been found. Their families still searching, still hoping. Let this story be a reminder. Sometimes the most dangerous monsters aren't in the spotlight. They're in the shadows, waiting. If you found this story chilling, make sure to subscribe to True Crime Feedback. We bring you real cases, real evil, and real justice. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and always look behind you.